Let me tell you about a man who had to choose between his arm and his life. But that's not really what this story is about. April 26th, 2003. Aron Ralston is climbing alone in Blue John Canyon, Utah. Experienced climber, confident, free. He's moving through a narrow slot canyon when an 800-pound boulder shifts. His right arm is pinned against the canyon wall, completely trapped. He tries everything. He chips at the boulder with his cheap multi-tool. He rigs anchors and pulley systems. He tries to lift it. Nothing. Now, most of us will never have our arm trapped under a boulder, but stay with me here. Because what happened in that canyon over the next 5 days, it reveals something about the nature of will that we've all gotten backwards. Days pass. Aron rations his water. Then it runs out. He's drinking his own urine, hallucinating. He records goodbye messages to his family on his camcorder. And through all of this, he's willing himself to survive, fighting, strategizing, trying to force a solution. His will is locked in combat with reality, and his will is losing. On the morning of the 5th day, something changes. Aron has a vision. He sees a little boy running toward him, a boy he doesn't have yet, his future son. And in that moment, he knows he's going to live. Not because he's going to move the boulder, not because someone's going to rescue him, but because he's going to do the one thing he's been unwilling to do. He's going to let go. Now, the ego in us wants to make this next part about bravery, about strength, about the will to survive at any cost. But listen to how Aron himself described it. He said it felt calm, clear, almost peaceful. The panic was gone, the resistance was gone. He wasn't fighting anymore. Using the torque of his body weight, he breaks his own bones. Then, with his dull multi-tool, he cuts through the soft tissue. It takes an hour, and when it's done, he's free.
He still has to rappel down a 65-foot cliff with one arm. He still has to hike miles through the desert, bleeding. He still gets rescued just in time. But the real moment of survival was the moment he stopped fighting what was. The moment he surrendered his arm. So here's what I want you to sit with. What if the thing you think you're fighting for is actually the thing keeping you trapped? What if your will, your real will, not the ego's desperate grasping, what if it's not about forcing reality to bend? What if it's about recognizing what's true and aligning with that? Aron lost his arm, but he gained something else. He describes the months after as the most alive he'd ever felt. Present, grateful, clear. He got married, he had that son he saw in his vision. He kept climbing mountains, not despite losing his arm, but because he learned what it means to truly choose life. See, the ego's will is always in conflict. It fights against what is. It demands reality be different. It exhausts itself trying to control, manipulate, force outcomes. And it calls that strength. But real will, true will, it doesn't fight. It recognizes. It sees clearly. This is what's true. This is what's real. This is what aligns with life itself. And then it acts from that clarity, not from fear, not from resistance, from alignment. What are you holding on to? What are you willing into existence that's actually pinning you in place? What relationship? What identity? What story about who you have to be? What if letting go isn't losing? What if it's the only way to be free? Aron says that in that canyon, he learned something. I chose my arm.
Every choice I'd made led to that moment. And in that moment, I chose life. But here's what he really learned, and what the canyon taught him. His deepest will and the truth of what needed to happen were never in conflict. They were always one. He just had to stop fighting long enough to see it. Your real will, not the ego's grasping, but your true will, it's already aligned with what's true. It's already aligned with love, with life itself. You don't have to force it. You just have to stop fighting it. Let go, brother. Let go, sister. What you're afraid to lose was never really yours. And what you truly are can never be taken.